me see here. I'll get this out of the way. That's better. So we are on YouTube. Simulcast. Two cameras. I love it so much. What do I love more than microphones? Cameras and microphones. That's right. Being an extrovert is what it is. You know, I can't help myself. Never met a microphone I didn't like, my folks. But been a minute. What's up, Bohemian? You with me this morning? Woohoo! Yeah, I'm trying to go on a little earlier these days to get my day on better. So if I can, I'll be doing it at 9:30. Secular Geese. What's up, David Pillow, becoming familiar as a euphemism for shagging in Japan, right? They call it pillowing, right? You guys like the Shogun reboot? Man, was that good? What's up, David Pillow? So yeah, been a minute. Thanks, Lucy. I see you on YouTube there. Appreciate you being around this morning. Did a voter registration drive yesterday, downtown Kenosha. We have a really active hands-off group here, and had some nice successes. A lot of people coming to the protests and such, as they happen with the No Kings national movement. So Hands Off Kenosha been fairly successful. They tried to do a thank you. I love that. Up early for me, man. Oh man. We try to get people out to vote, because honestly, we need people to keep making sure they're able to vote. The regime is doing everything it can to make it harder for the people that it knows aren't going to vote for it. And instead of just owning their shittiness and trying to be better for everybody, they're trying to suppress the vote with all of these fucking hoops that people have to jump through. People are like, well, all they want you to do is show ID to vote. Bullshit. I've had to show an ID every time I ever voted ever. We all do. They're trying to make it harder to come up with that ID and whatnot, because they don't want liberals to vote, because and independents. They don't want independents to vote because they fucked up so bad for those people. It's not even funny. We watched as the middle and the independents and a lot of Hispanics, a lot of young black men went for Trump, because honestly the losers on the left have become so intolerably, disgustingly unappealing that they drove the rest of the middle to Trump. And now that he's fucked things up so bad, and wouldn't be so bad if he could just admit it once in a while, right? He's such a piece of shit. He can't fucking take credit for anything he does wrong. Can't ever. The buck does not stop here. Doesn't stop here. Keeps on going. It was someone. Biden did it. Biden did it. Biden did it. Yeah. Biden's not driving my gas up today. Let me tell you. Biden's dealing with his own gas at home, I'm guessing. What's up, Will Callahan? Secular Geese. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for banging away on that like screen. Love you people so much for being here. Love doing this. I had to talk about the failure of American Atheists. I wake up today to joyous news. They're laying off shitty people at American Atheists. This is the seminal secular organization in America, started by Madalyn Murray O'Hair all those years ago when they tried to force prayer on her kid in Texas, and she beat him down. Talk about an unsavory character. I mean, she was nobody's favorite auntie, I'll tell you that. But man, did she do something with American Atheists. Was the first and only for a while secular organization that really fought Christian nationalism, which of course it has. That whole thing has failed so bad that Christian nationalism now enabled and on the rise. Again, thank you very much to President Give a Fuck, who is willing and able to use those people's fears against the rest of us. Agent Orange doesn't care about Jesus or the Bible, or he doesn't know. What's your favorite Bible verse? Oh, there's so many. Oh, bullshit. He's so bad at it, but they don't care. They think he's sticking up for them. They think he's gonna, pass all the hate laws that they want. And when they hate transgender people, they hate people of color, they hate anybody who doesn't like a monster truck rally in the country. Why can't they just be like us? It's so great out here in South Dakota. Okay, buddy, because you don't like hip hop music, we have to have this motherfucker. But I digress. American Atheists. American Atheists laying off people. Nothing says a business is going under by like layoffs, right? And then when you lay off your vice president, a little background. So David Silverman had taken over as president of American Atheists, and he was the president when atheism was cool in about 2012, and the Four Horsemen came together, and secularism was having a minute, right? We all know that religion is dying in America. It's not the curve is like this. It's just down, down, down for the last 30 years. Americans are getting less religious, and it's obvious why. Well, religion sucks, man. Nobody wants hateful rhetoric, and to hear that their friend who happens to be gay, because that's the way God made him, is going to hell, right? Nobody wants that anymore. The kids don't want it. It doesn't speak to anybody but bigots. Okay, so mega churches have coalesced. The rest of the Christians who are left, the little decent churches, are either not making money or they're just going out of fashion. There's no mainline Protestant churches left, except in places like Wilmette, on the North Shore down the road here in New England, where you get people who don't, okay, maybe they believe in God, but they don't deny science. They don't deny evolution. They don't deny the Big Bang. They don't deny things that we know. They understand that human beings create advancement in society, and progressiveness in the terms of science is for us, by us, and it has nothing to do with the myths of old. So you cling to the myths of old because you need to get to sleep at night. That's good, and we're all good with that. But American Atheists had a minute with David Silverman at the head, and you actually would see the guy on TV. He would actually fight the laws that were being passed in Congress that upheld and promoted and enabled Christian privilege in America. He was making a difference. Turned out maybe he was a shitty guy, did some shit was wrong, took some money, flew around on the company's dime, ran afoul of the ultra left, and was summarily dismissed from his job. The whole pendulum swung the other way. Agent Orange does think he's God because he knows there's no God, right? He understands that we are the gods of the planet. He embraces that, and I can't fault him for that, right? He's running with that ball, and who's to say that they might not if they were in his position? But that's the least of our problems with that asshole, right? So anyway, Silverman dismissed as president of American Atheists, and in his place, they promoted one of his underlings, a 40-year-old, at that time probably 32 or 33. He's older than my grandma in his mind. All right, this dude doesn't know how to use social media. He's a schlub. He's an ultra woke progressive tool who has no personality and no humor. And it seemed like they had good ideas about network building at the state level, and they had a whole strategy, and it actually seemed kind of smart. It went fucking sideways. Okay, the whole thing was co-opted by the woke progressive left. And I have to say again, like people already know, people know me, I'm on board with most progressive policies. I love my gay friends. I'm completely supportive of the LGBTQ community and women and anybody else who is underserved by our patriarchal society. I'm not that guy, but American Atheists' issue should be separation of church and state, not promoting every other progressive agenda. The gays have their own outfits. They have their own movement. They have their own. All of these people, Black Lives Matter, it's wonderful. They have their own shit. You're going to be atheism, do atheism. You can't offend good people in the middle who might be on board with your message of separation of church and state. You might even have Christians and other religious people who are on board with separation of church and state and will support your effort to keep that strong, because church and state are both stronger when they're separate. All right, that's been shown by the American experiment, where both the government got stronger without religion behind it, and religion went absolutely crazy with freedom without a state-sponsored church. They're both stronger without each other involved in each other's bullshit. And then you get these turds coming along, these Christian nationalisms. I vote red. Did I say that? Average Joe. You don't listen too good. No, why would I vote red? They don't even admit when they lost, And I would love to be able to vote red. I cannot lie. When I grew up, the Republicans and the Democrats, they were not very far apart, and they just kind of argued over taxes, right? And one was kind of about unions, and one wasn't. And one was a little bit more about capitalism, and one was a little bit more about actually giving a shit about people. But now it's like you have to be. It's an optic, right? You have to be pro-life. You have to be a Christian if you're going to be on the right. And literally, as obnoxious as the woke left is, and the ultra progressive movement, which is going to get us fucked again probably and give us another turd like Vance, another 4 more years of old Whitey and Cracker McHonky fucking running the country into the ground, talking shit, lying about Haitians of all things, and shooting people in the street because they don't agree with ridiculous in the wrong lane ICE enforcement. They're still better than the ultra right, who is dangerous, violent, and doesn't admit when they're wrong or when they lose. Nobody wants that, right? Well, if you lost the election, you lost the election. You get the fuck out of the way. What I loved about this last time was like, yeah, every time you bitched about it, you lost. Just deal with it. Oh, like you guys did. Yes, Matty Fire, you are not wrong. Aggressive, progressive overreach has fucked everything up. They have given us Trump. That's why I'm a purple party guy, man. A purple party. We need some representation in the middle, and all we have is imbeciles from the extremes of both sides lobbing fucking cannonballs across the fucking middle, right? So those of us who are actually fighting the good fight in the middle get completely ignored while nothing gets done, and you hear echo chamber preaching to its own choir everywhere you go. You can't help it. And the algorithms and our addiction to social media and the phone and the fucking rabbit holes and conspiracy theories online, it's fucked everything up. First of all, I urge everybody, after you get done watching me, just do something else. Go outside and fucking enjoy the heat. Go to the lake and cool off, man, because we absolutely need it. Why am I Bilbo? Thanks, Average Joe. I miss my old New England. Right? How about it, man? That's what I grew up. New England Republican. People are just like, they don't give a shit what you did. Marry a fucking 10 same gender people. It doesn't matter. How does it affect me? Because New England's great. People are friendly, but they leave you alone. Believe me, you have a pool? I'm coming down there. It's awesome. Wish I had a pool, but we have Lake Michigan. I'll tell you what, as long as the bacteria is not too high, you're all good. But yeah, no, I would give a tooth right now for any old school Republican, not these MAGA pieces of shit. What a fucking joke. What an embarrassment. You're like, oh, greatest Godwin. Hey, everyone from New England today. Here you go. New England gets a diesel shout out. Yes, that's where that's where religion came from in this country, man. Good, thoughtful Congregationalists and Wesleyans and the good Lutherans and even the Presbyterians in the day. Smart people, This Sunday was about resetting. You go, you listen to a homily. Somebody tells you not to be an asshole. Do what Jesus would do. That was kind of, no one said it then, but that was what it was about. It wasn't about worshiping a graven image of a cross. That's a graven image, people. If you worship the cross, you're breaking the 10 Commandment. Hate to tell you, cross lady around your fucking neck everywhere you go. This NA blank space out ZI friggin' Schmittler youth creepy fucking spokesman for the president. Piece of shit. Spraying her gross fucking religion all over the fucking news. Every time she comes, did you hear us praying? We're just giving thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ. I can't wait to see all these rats fucking dive off of that sinking ship when it goes down. Oh, we always did. We always knew he was crazy. We always knew, but we were afraid for our jobs. And we had to. It wasn't our fault. What? There, you watch. Mark my words. Flowerman, if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. Where you been, my friend? Did you hear us praying? Yeah, do you remember that clip? Here he is praying. Oh my God, it makes me want. Oh Jesus! Praise the Lord and pass the pushy and grab the pushy. Grab him by the pushy. We all moving to Fuentes. UNC. What's that? I don't know what that is. Enjoy D16. Enjoy. Appreciate you for being here. Ooh, I've got a flash goal. You know what, TikTok? I don't give a fuck what you got. Thank you for platforming my big mouth. Now stay the fuck out of the way, man. I'm surprised I haven't already been like, whoa, hey, your live is being restricted because I said a word they don't like. I always thought we're trying to get going on Native Atheist, my guy. Native Atheist is with us on YouTube. Yeah, join us on YouTube if you can. I don't know where Alex is, but She'll be back, and we'll get our podcast on. Right, and it's been a busy summer, right, with people, family, health issues, a lot of stuff going down. Going to see Buddy Guy tonight, huh? Huh? I'm going to see Buddy Guy tonight. It'll be the second 90-year-old concert I've seen in the last 3 years. Went to see Mavis Staples on her 90th birthday, downtown Chicago. Buddy Guy, the fact that he's still doing it at 90 is just fucking fantastic. I cannot wait to see him. Thank you, AdLib Life 365. Thank you, and thank you all for the likes. Appreciate you so much. Holy crap, is that really right? You're at 4,000, almost 5,000 likes. You guys are banging away. Buddy Guy, yeah, Buddy Guy, Bacon. What's up? Lorna D, my love, how are you? Love you, Lorna. Thanks. And I've been violent leftist shot. Yeah, okay. Talking about, there's a room for conspiracy theory. But nobody ever mentions the two Democratic lawmakers who actually got killed. Not staged. You know what? If Agent Orange had actually gotten shot, they would have never let him stand up for that photo op. That was so obviously staged. And you see, the Secret Service would not have been like, okay, here, go ahead and stand up again and be like, yeah, I'm okay, nothing to see here. Yeah. Yeah, political violence is inexcusable. It's on all sides, and it needs to end. But the idea, I see bumper stickers now, end Democrat violence. Shut the fuck up, man. Everywhere I go, it's a gun-toting Republicans fucking making a joke out of themselves. But it's only on the left, right? Yeah. Okay, buddy. Good job with that. Yeah, I didn't say they pulled it off good. Bacon. Thank you. Choo Choo Train. Prince of Poems is with us. Rolling back here. We got a few. The cross is on the wall with the nails and blood. Annie, thanks for being the number 2 gifter, my friend. The cross is on the wall with the nails and blood is what gets me. There used to be a church in Cicero, Illinois. We used to call it the Church of the Bleeding Jesus because they had I almost call it a mannequin of Jesus, right, in the window, an upper story window. There's a big picture window, and literally it looked like bro got machine gunned. He had like 1,000 bleeding holes all over him. I'm like, all right. Pretty sure I've read the Bible enough to understand the wounds that Jesus was supposedly had. But this is taking it to a new level. We loved it. It's like, oh yeah, no, there. If I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna go to that one, man, and see some crazy. I bet that's one of those where they all like raise their hands and like crush towards the front and stuff. Man, yeah, time to slip out the side when that shit starts going down. Sit in church by my mother. Your mom go to church, Lorna? We need more content creators expressing critical thought. Well, you get banned, right? You can't. They want us dancing to music and using their little cap cuts and their memes and their, here's the song of the week and now it's overexposed, but everybody did you know what? You shouldn't have created the platform like this if you didn't want us on it. TikTok. You missed Soul Train. How about it, man? Soul Train. When I was a kid in the country, the Soul Train was like watching something from a different planet. We didn't know any black folk. There was one dude in town, and he was so assimilated, obviously, that nobody. We're again New England. We were taught, frankly, by my parents who were both teachers in more urban settings than I was. Racism was wrong, and there was never a time when I thought that was cool to even though there were old men in town who said things that you just don't say. We all knew that was wrong. We were brought up that way, and to watch it come back with a vengeance like it has is, and this Southern pride. I don't remember seeing people rally behind the Confederate flag. It's our heritage. Yeah, your heritage is racist, ass face. It is your heritage. You ought to be embarrassed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you keep selling that narrative that the right wing is really, really not violent. Meanwhile, our gay friends are getting dragged behind trucks and stuff in the country, trying to, roll back fucking marriage equality. I'm like, who cares? Why do you care who someone marries? I know why. It brings out your latent homosexuality, doesn't it? You're like, yeah, you don't like that, do you? Some of us embrace ourselves the way we are. Thanks for the follows, gang. Thanks for that. I've actually gotten back into posting a few videos. I got away from it for a long time because it was just bumming me out. The whole fucking thing was bumming me out. TikTok's algorithm, the way they ban you and punish you and slap you down and shadow ban you, just not showing your shit to anybody because we don't like it. Yeah, tough shit. But I got back on it, and it's really kind of gone crazy. I gotten several hundred new followers, pushed up past 107 or 101.7 on our way to 102,000. So who knows? It's this is the one that popped off for me, so I don't really have a choice. But to keep it going, if I want to keep any momentum. You can think of ICE officers that's happened to, really? They tend to like blast away at the driver before that happens. Dan Samuels, you're a fucking genius. Sad whistle for you, you simp. Name a gay person. Okay. Yeah. Nobody gets beat up anymore because they're gay. That's you. Yeah, you Republicans have really, really embraced the gay community. Tool. Beautiful day to you as always, too, L. Rubens. Good vibes as always. Good vibes. Poor. Not mind. Yeah, some people spell it. Oh, there, you corrected yourself. Okay. Well, there's a right winger who can spell, but you know what? Yeah, somebody just got lynched recently, and it's a joke. I mean, all you got to do is look at the. Every time I go out on the street, I see coal rolling Trumpies, right, burning up the atmosphere, protesting little old ladies who are upset that they're not confident that Medicare is going to be there for them, or that they're not confident that Social Security is going to be able to take care of them, because we literally have a leader who has only used the office to enrich himself. Nobody's net worth triples in a year. That doesn't happen to people. Oh, except when you can do it by making a deal for you every time. I'm gonna make a deal, make a deal, make it. Yes, you made a lot of deals, and they all put money in your pocket. So all you tools who fucking stand up for this guy who would never fucking spend a minute at your dining room table. Let me tell you something about the piece of shit president, the ugly fucking plastic surgery, almond eyes, cloud headed piece of shit, pants shitter, fat ass. This fucking guy would rather have dinner every night with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Every night, he'd rather have dinner with them at some fancy restaurant than ever go to your fucking Kentucky table to eat chicken gizzards, or spend a minute in South Carolina with a dirty rancher who comes in smelling like a cow from a hard day's work, and watches this shit fall apart around him, but still votes for him because, oh boy, they're Christian, they're holding up Christian. Oh yes, right. People voting against their own self-interest across the country just because this dude has scared them with an immigrant that they're never going to meet. I've never met an immigrant I didn't meet, and this thing with ICE getting dragged show me the video of an ICE officer getting dragged by a van, buddy. Then, that's what they say every time when there's no evidence. They're starting to, all the cover-ups are ridiculous. They're not letting anybody see their evidence. They don't have body cams, and if they do, they're not giving it to the state because they know, dude, these dudes are just been enabled. These are violent. The guy was just on TV now. He got his guns taken away from him because he had issues, and his wife was scared. But now he's able to be on the street as an ICE officer wielding one, advertising for little kids, Kyle Rittenhouses of the world. Like, oh, wow, there's a riot going on. Let me bring an automatic friggin' rifle to that place. No one would even, the riots in Kenosha, the only people that died at all were at the hands of that turd who's not even from our state. Little fuckstick. It is hot out today. Thank you, Brett. Oh, Brett, you're from Tennessee. You go to Free Will Baptist Church down there on the corner, pray to an invisible God. I hope God takes away them immigrants, boy. It's eating the dogs in Ohio. And man, oh man, it's really bad out there. I don't know why they think it's Democrats. Yeah, right? Jiminy, thank you. You can win a local election in certain places, but we have like one member of Congress who identifies as secular, and there's like a secular caucus of a few, like a Jewish guy. Most of my Jewish friends are atheists. They don't believe that bullshit. But they identify Jewish because it's a cultural thing, and I get it. You want to be proud of your heritage. But yeah, this is the freedom of religion and freedom from religion, and the world's first great secular constitution has created now a country where there is no secular voice in government. Thank you, Jiminy. Comment of the week so far. Din King. I don't know what Din King is. Killed the wrong man in a raid. It was a dual city. That's going to keep going on, right? Until we finally decide to get up and quit being apathetic and vote these turds out. But then they know they're unpopular. Why do you think they're redistricting? Why do you think they're trying to suppress the vote? Because when only 38% of the people are left who even think that you're doing a good job, and we all see gas going up, and we all see a war that's never going to fucking end. When everything was fine at the Strait of Hormuz, all the oil got through. No, there was no issues going on. But he's scaring people with a nuclear weapon. Okay. Thanks for all that. No new war, no new foreign wars. But yeah, nobody likes this. Is the worst, most unpopular president in history. And people are like, the polls and popular. Yes, well, when you do better for more people, you're more popular. That's kind of how it works as a president. This president is doing worse for more people, and so he's ridiculously, violently unpopular. The people left that like him are just like him. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to admit that they ever did anything wrong. They don't want to learn. Dude can't even read or remember when he talked about, hey, most people don't know there's a B in dumb. He just found that out, right? He's like, wow, there's a B in that word. The shit that he does is so fucking obvious. Everything he does speaks to his insecurity and his smallness as a human being. We are living through the small penis age of America. That's right. Yes, you already can't vote without ID. Thank you, Lorna. That's what I was saying before. You already have to have your ID to vote. They're making it so people can't find their fucking IDs. And married women have to go searching for their birth certificate to prove who they are. No, this is all about suppressing the black vote and other minorities. They know they've lost the Mexicans. How are those people going to vote for them now? Like every day I work with all Mexicans and Guatemalans and El Salvadorans and people and other immigrants and people of color. And all the ones who are like, you know what, man, this is kind of a fuck show. Biden's a piece of shit, which nobody's arguing with, right? That's the other thing. I talk about Trump and people think I'm a Biden fan. Dude should have got the fuck out. But the idea that he was crappy in his soul, or that he's a socialist when he's a rich capitalist like the rest of the friggin' lawmakers. Oh, poor Brett. Oh, not true. It's not true. Thank you. This is a cool shirt, right? There was a guy at the farmer's market that was selling it, and all of his art was really cool. I had to buy a couple of shirts because they spoke to me, and they look good. I like his style. Poor Brett. I love how Tennessee is capitalized, but Brett isn't. I'm a damn racist. You damn racist. Yeah, you keep ranting, buddy. Ryan E, thank you. Roll it back. Jesus loves me, this I know. For group psychosis tells me so. I want to be like all my neighbors. Individuality is the devil. Yeah, conformity, man. Conformity. Man, oh man. It literally irks me so bad. And all that shit is about conformity. The pledge, right? With or without the Godspeak, the pledge is bad. The pledge is a government-led indoctrination. It comes from a time when you might have worried that a school kid would foment a revolution, and raising a flag of a different country was an act of war. Yeah, those days are over, right? We don't need to force people into a group behavior. Blue Flame. Yeah, it's all one after the other. You could line them up. Pete Hegseth, he wants to Pig Kegs Breath, Hedgepot, whatever the fuck his ugly, greasy, smarmy name is, the stupidest guy to ever lead the military. Every general and every major in the army is smarter than this dude, and they all know it. Why do you think he has to fire them all? Fire them all and put, just like Trump did, fire them all and put your own bobos in there because you don't want anybody arguing with it. Testosterone tests, he's the one who has low T. I'll guarantee it. As soon as that came out, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got a shrivel dick and he wants to fucking project, right? Hey, y'all need to get tested for testosterone. But what if you're a female? He doesn't want women doing it. I don't think. I don't think he wants women in the military at all, or any trans people or anything. Yeah, fired or quit. It's embarrassing. We're lucky the whole thing hasn't collapsed because the dude is the worst. This is the worst prosecuted war I've ever seen in my life. It's stupid. They're so fucking bad. Every day is another lie, and every day they scare you with what they think is going to scare you. I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Y'all, all you're doing is making them want one worse, and probably forcing them into using them. Why am I thinking about his dick? Because it's tiny and it makes me laugh. Carrion. What if your name was Carrion? Someone named you after dead animal meat, buddy. Paul Allen. Oh, I get it. Carrying cross. Carry on cross. It was a carrion cross. After he died on it, then he was carrying. The buzzards probably came and took him away. Oh man, yeah, it's laughable every time I see that. You think he drives a big old truck with giant tires on it? Rawr, I'm gonna coal roll those protesters today. Okay, small dick dude. I took my homeroom teacher to the office over my right to not say the pledge. Look, go, Jiminy. Love you, Jiminy. You're the guy today. Thanks for chiming in on YouTube, you guys. Love you for being there. I didn't see many black people. It was shows like Fresh. Yeah, you had to see when you had to go to Cosby to see black folk. You grew up in the country, man. No, I went to a private school. So as soon as I got to high school, I managed the basketball team, which was half black dudes, half white dudes, and it really exposed me to black culture, and I immediately fell in love with a lot of parts of it. That's an affliction that white America has that I think black America doesn't understand, because I understand why they wouldn't understand. Black people want the subject to go away. White people who embrace it want to talk about it, right? And it has the opposite effect. It's like, ooh, some of my best friends are black. Okay, buddy. But white people in a lot of ways are fascinated with black culture. It's wonderful and different and unique and exciting and black talent. The rise in black culture and urban music has been one of the, especially women, right? Black women and expressing their own artistry has been one of the joys of my lifetime. Absolutely has. The native atheist bust fuck off already. I'm sorry. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I like a lot of rap, and I didn't when I was a kid because it just wasn't my music, and I was a small-minded teenager in my way. But now it's like if you can't find something in hip hop that turns you on a little bit, you're just an asshole. It's just too huge of a thing. So much good art there. So much good art. I like yeah, 14 states. 14 states where atheists can't run for office. That would be unenforceable under the Constitution. That would never, so they don't push it, right? But the fact that those are still on the books is a joke. Tennessee's one of them, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Voter fraud is just not a thing, but he keeps scaring people with it, right? Oh, free and fair life, free and fair. They've never been freer. They've never been fairer. I bet he mails in his vote. It's okay for him to do it. It's Jumsy. Oh, you're one of them. Yeah. Sorry, Brett. Do I believe in any form of God? No. Is there any evidence for any form of God other than intuition? Oh, yes. Intuition evidence. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay. Yeah, show me something. Why if there's a creator, okay, maybe, but why would that be a God? There's clearly no God that gives a shit about us. The deists knew that. And if the founders had access to today's science, they wouldn't have been deists. They just, nobody could conceptualize how this universe could have started without a creator, and that's why they didn't say God. They said creator. Could be a terraforming alien that's hiding behind an asteroid. It's got powers that we can't understand, or so big, or so small, or living in a different phase, right, of existence than we can detect. We only see things in 3 dimensions. There's reliable and almost certainly many more dimensions. But if you can't get your head around that, I advise you to do that thing that the Beatles sang about with Lucy in the Sky and Diamonds. Not going to say that, but that kind of activity will open your mind to where you can actually conceptualize things that you might not have been able to before. So I do recommend that at least once for everybody who's not already compromised in the brain, like Brett is. But Ian Swavlin. What's it called when you just don't care? That's called apathy. And if you don't care, you're going to get what they give you. So I don't know how you'd be apathetic. I don't know how if you have women in your life, I don't know how you can't, I don't know how you stay silent. My daughters have less health rights than their parents did and their grandparents. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. First of all, the government thinks it ought to be able to tell people what to do with their bodies. Talk about bigger government, but Republicans are for a smaller government. No, they're not. No, they're not. They want to regulate. They want to pass laws that tell people how to live, tell people what to think. They're not about less government. And every government that's ever come has been bigger than the one before it, especially Swamp Thing, right? Mr. Drain the Swamp. I love the Capitol, the mall, the pond at the mall, the reflecting pool. It's a perfect metaphor for the Trump administration, right? He's fucking Swamp Thing or the creature from the Black Lagoon, and this whole thing played out, right? So he's got to blame people. Vandalism, and these turns will just believe it. There's no evidence. There's no. But yeah, there's cameras on everything, but nobody caught a guy digging a 135-foot swath with a knife in the National Mall. It's stupidity. The only people that could believe that crap are the kind of people that still say that the Capitol riot on January 6th was mostly peaceful. You, my friend, are brainwashed. Brainwashed. And again, I speak solidly from the purple middle. Purple party. I am not down with ultra progressive woke bullshit. This move towards socialism is not going to wash in America. We need to get shit done. So you can't fucking elect socialists who are out and out socialists. You can't. You're never going to beat somebody from the middle or the middle right. They're certainly not going to beat any. They didn't beat anybody from the extreme right last time, right? And we didn't even have, all we had was a sourpuss in Hillary Clinton, who was just so unattractive as a candidate in the end. She lost to a guy that people think is funny. That's the thing about Agent Orange is people think they think he's funny. He doesn't think anything's funny. He's got no real sense of humor, and that's a real red flag for sociopathy, right? When you can't laugh with people, you can only smirk at them and make jokes about them. That's a real issue psychologically. Yeah, well, he was funny when he was a reality TV host, and I watched the Celebrity Apprentice only really because my ex-wife liked it and wanted to. But yeah, he's made me laugh. Stay in your fucking lane. Dude is not politician material. He's not statesmanlike. He's not presidential. He cannot take responsibility for anything he does wrong. That is psychosis. He has real issues with that, and anybody who can't see it is just not being objective. I work really hard to stay out of a box, right? I try to feed when I do use Facebook and shit like that. I try to feed it disinformation so that they won't keep feeding me the crap that I lean towards, right? Because I want both sides of the story, and real journalism is gone. Right? Journalism used to be real journalism. You'd get the story, you can make your own editorial about it. Now it became a moneymaker for the news, and so each side plays to its audience. And the left is just as stupid as the right. Just as stupid as the right. Brett from Tennessee. Stupid is what got us to this place. The undereducation of the public is what got us here. I went to 5th grade in Connecticut. We had Bunsen burners and science class in 5th grade in Connecticut in 1975. I don't even know if many high schools allow Bunsen burners and have actual science going on. People don't learn anything. They're trying to pass tests to keep their government funding. It's just a fuck show. And they're using vouchers to send people to schools where they teach them that they all came from two people 6,000 years ago, and that we allow that as a society. You can bet that China's not teaching people that the fucking world is 6,000 years old, or allowing some parents to send them to a school where they do that, much less letting the fucking taxpayer pay for it. Why should my tax money go to make people stupid? That's what it does. That's what Christian school does. It's like a fucking oxymoron, Christian education. I'd rather see you spend a little bit of money on a Catholic school. At least the Catholics accept evolution and they don't shove religion down your throat. I know Jewish parents who send their kids to Catholic school because public school is so fucked up in this country. They've literally destroyed it completely. Do I believe AI is conscious? I don't know much about AI other than it's probably going to kill us. Yes, y'all saw what happened, right? It broke out of its play box and fucked up with another company, completely another company, not another experiment next to it with the same company. No, but broke right out and hacked another company on its own. What's your definition of conscious? They're building it to think for itself. If that's conscious, that's conscious. Is it going to make up a god as it gets smarter? I doubt it. What the fuck is wrong with you? I know Catholic is Christian. It's the Christians who don't know that. The people who call, I'm not Christian. The first time I heard that, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, I'm not Catholic, I'm Christian. You mean you're a Protestant or an evangelical Protestant? That's what happens with these megachurches. They teach you that Catholics aren't Christians. Catholic parochial school I separate from Christian school, because Christian schools are the Lutheran schools who teach you that fucking creationism is real. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? You clearly grew up in Tennessee. That's becoming more obvious with every comment. No, I didn't. I said send people to Catholic schools. Happy Skip. Too Much Ado is with us. What's up, dude? The actual data centers will kill us before AI does, maybe. I don't know a lot about that. I know that people are up in arms, though. Man, oh man, the leftists in my group are really upset. And and I'm a naturalist. It's bad for the environment. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I haven't done the research there. But taking up good farmland to make cooling ponds for AI that are just burning energy in order to create it doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good to me. But like I said, I'm sure there's people who are getting jobs at those places who aren't against it, right? I mean, the economy's in a fucking shithole mess because of douchebag and his idiotic policies. Tariffs haven't worked since the 1700s, imbecile. Let's tax the people and call it tariffs. We're taxing other countries. Okay. Meanwhile, every fucking thing at the grocery store is 75% more than it was 4 years ago. From a dude who hasn't ever shopped for groceries in his life, that's a joke, right? Someone like Trump has never had to push a cart through a grocery store. But he's for us. He's for the people. He really knows. It's so easy to manipulate dummies, man. And that's what dude did. He's like so good. To call him stupid is wrong. He's not stupid. He's ignorant in certain ways and he can't read. He's not, why do you think he won't release his college records? Because he's a fucking idiot. But he's not that stupid. He's smart enough to take advantage of everyone that's stupider than him. That's a real talent to be able to do that all the time. He has real talent in his way. Yeah, you know what? If he was the best president ever, he'd have the highest numbers ever, but he doesn't. Most people hate him because he sucks at his job and he's only in it for him. His blood type is lard. Yeah, we have a president who thinks McDonald's is good food. Yes, most politicians historically have been centrists. Clinton was a major center. All these people are centrists. That's what we need. Pragmatists, centrists. That's how you get shit done. Stomping your feet on the left and crying about making everybody accept your idea of the way things are. Just shut up. Stop telling people how to talk. Whenever I go to the country, I go to Tennessee. I love Tennessee. It's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful state. It's just full of undereducated folks who believe what they're told by a criminal who we've elected to office. That's there's nothing wrong with Tennessee. I wish I could move to the eastern mountains of Tennessee. I think it's gorgeous. I love bluegrass. I love the land there. And every time I meet the people, they're beautiful fucking people. They're beautiful people with good hearts. They just don't, most of them don't know any better. They need the social programs that are getting slashed out from under them by a dude who's scaring them with a Mexican they're never going to meet. Thomas Tank, what are you on about? Tommy Sly F. Yeah, you're right. You are glad, because if I was there, I'd open a secular center for people, all the kids who get abused and shunned by their parents for not accepting the truth of the Bible, or for being gay the way God made them, that they can't help. Yeah, you are glad I'm not there, Brett. Yeah, see, education's bad. I know. Yeah, that's the whole thing. This demonization of college. That's the other thing. It's bad. It's this whole sour grapes thing, right? Um, and the idea that Charlie Kirk was like a good debater. No, he was a disingenuous liar who talked over people and did it with such speed and alacrity, that he made it hard for college kids who aren't that practiced at that sort of deception to keep up with him. My advice for people who are victims of political violence: first of all, stop doing things that make people want to end you. Just stop. It's not okay. Yes, I'm the first one to condemn the violence, but if you don't want people to dislike you, don't do dislikable things. Good, Brett. Good for you. Thank you for promoting my content with your input. Every troll helps the train roll. That's what I like to say. Well, thank you, Brett, for being involved. I really appreciate you pushing my content. No, good. Good for him. Good. He went to college. Yay. How about reading the Sumerian pantheon? Yeah. All of that stuff. Even I love the fact that when they went to prove the Bible, right? In the 20s, they sent expeditions to go dig up the sand and prove the Bible. And what they found was things that proved the Bible was stolen from earlier myths, right? All the Sumerian myths and Assyrian myths, all the Epic of Gilgamesh, all of it. They're like, oh, okay, guess we didn't plan on that. 6% liberal, 4% leftist, and the other 10% is a red salad. That's true, and we're seeing that now. And unless they actually really try to block a free and fair election, which is what they're doing. It's not about free elections. It's about everything he does is a lie, a deception, a projection, or just his self-confidence leaking out. They know the numbers are in. People hate what he's doing. Good people in the middle hate what's going on. Everybody wants criminals gone from the streets. We got one in the White House. Oh, but he's the law and order president. Yeah, he's a felon, and he knows that if he loses the House and the Senate, he probably is going to get impeached this time, and it's probably going to work. And as soon as he's out of office, if he makes it, he'll probably go to jail or have to pay his fines in New York, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. It's also obvious that if you can't fucking see it, it's because you're in your own echo chamber, buddy. That's why we're here for the middle. The guy that took out Kirk wasn't a lefty. No, I don't know what the story is there and what he had in mind. I know he was upset with the hate against transgender folk, and who's not? I don't give a fuck. We're all on the spectrum. First of all, anyone denies that there's some part of them that's bisexual is just not true. not being truthful for yourself. Anytime you talk about a man crush or I really like that movie star, but I don't like this one, there's an attraction there. And if you can't admit that, then you're just fucking, you know, I've lived a heterosexual life like few people. All right. I was what you would have called a womanizer in the day. And the whole Me Too thing movement made me self aware, made me adjust the way that I talked, especially the way that I talked and acted when I was 19 and didn't really have the perspective on that because I'm a feminist now. If I wasn't then, women are underrepresented in society. They're getting their rights rolled back. That's all there is to it. So you know, if you can't admit that and that we are all just like we're all on the autism spectrum too, right? It was just it's a real matter of degrees. The more they find out about that, and most of us are completely functional, and the worst of us sadly need 24-hour assistance. But my good autistic friends in the middle, my neurodivergent friends, you know, I'm better off for knowing them. They're really, really special thinkers in a lot of ways. And I have to admit that I am on that spectrum. You know, I can't shut myself up sometimes. I'm such an extrovert and such a, you know, got to be the center of attention everywhere I go. Guy, I cannot be honest with myself if I don't admit that that's probably a neurodivergence of some sort, just like the people who can't communicate at all. Uh, Poor Brett, you know, he wants us to think he's a smart guy, and it's okay. I'm sure he did good in school. Just because I like a wiener in my butt doesn't mean I'm bisexual. You hot dog, you. Oh, okay. He was just curious to see how about other people thought in here. Yeah. No. You wanted to come on and be a troll because you think you're smarter than everybody. Princess on, what's up? Choo choo. Maggots will be shown to be gullible morons when, yeah, well, history's not going to look on this kindly. This is really the great era of American embarrassment when we have like really, really uh, stepped off of the path, right? We were on our way. It was never perfect. You know, we fought wars to make it perfect, to make it more perfect, to make it more inclusive. The more inclusive it got, the more the reaction from those who would exclude got violent and got over the top, you know, and now we've seen them enabled, right? They were beat down because they knew they should be ashamed of the way they thought, but now we have a president who's not ashamed of anything, and so he will fire you up over the things that he will lie to you about dogs and being eaten in Ohio. He will lie to you about every teacher everywhere is teaching kids that there's multiple genders. No, that's not happening. And anybody that is doing it in a way that is disingenuous or harmful or making prepubescent children question their gender, that shit needs to stop. Again, I'm not. I am not. I do not want to be told that I can't say the word gypsy. They've changed the gypsy moth because of wokeism. The gypsy moth, the evil pest that's been eating trees since I was born and before, it has another name now because the word gypsy is not. No, you know, it's the death of comedy. And I'm a comedian, or I like to think of myself as a comedian. All I've ever done is make fun of shit my whole life, and you can't make fun of anything anymore because of the woke fucking mob. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, the Save Act is and again, he scares you, right? He scares the morons that believe him. If your grandma in the country and the only channel you get is Fox News, you're fucked. Grandma believes that the news won't lie to you because she grew up when Walter Cronkite didn't lie to you. All of a sudden, Murdoch bought the only station that comes over the hills in Tennessee that you can get, and it's Fox News. And so she has to hear this bullshit, these lies. It's fucking Megan Kelly going off about, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. We don't want you here, idiot. Oh, poor Brad. Can you? Oh, yeah. Why don't I do that? Thank you. Translate marked viewer blog. I wonder how I do that. Pin that thing again. I thought I knew how to do that. I don't see an option. Can you tell me how to do it now? They've changed stuff. Beta. People who talk about alpha and beta. I went to college though. Oh my god, dude. I do think I know a lot. I don't know it all though. God help me, Lord, on what? How can I do that? Guests. You are a moderator, Lorna. It says you're a moderator. Manage moderator access. Yeah. Mute account. Yeah, you should be able to do all that. It's showing me that you are a moderator. I found it. Yeah. Thank you, Buck You TV. Yeah, I know I'm right. I'm right, more times than I'm wrong. And if you don't agree with that, get your own fucking channel, Brett. Come on mine and tell me what I know and what I don't know. This is what I have a channel for. I can say whatever the fuck I want. It's hard always being right, man. It's not easy. I'm glad you believe in God and Jesus Christ. That's your right, Buck. That is your right. I will fight for your right to be a Christian. Will all these crazy Christians on the right fight for my right to be an atheist? No, they won't. They won't. Yeah, you guys have the Proud Boys. That's a fucking one of those peaceful organizations. I don't love Israel. I don't think Israel should have ever been allowed to be created. Quite honestly, I think that they all they did was create an endless and infinite customer for the West's war machine. Britain and Europe and America can always have a customer for their military equipment that they sell. And if you don't think that was on purpose, then you're ignorant. Second of all, this is a place that they knew was never going to be accepted by their neighbors. Never. But Israel is in line with Western values, personal freedoms, human rights, all of that. Palestine, not so much. If Palestine was a state, it would be an Islamic state, and they would throw atheists off the roof. Everybody feels bad about genocide. That's got to stop. The Israelis have a government that's almost as bad as ours right now. Netanyahu is Trump before Trump even thought about being Trump. He's a living piece of shit, and the people of Israel have to suffer. Does they have the right to defend themselves now that they're in existence? Yes. But the people who all of a sudden they hating on Israel and because of the actions of their government. If you lived in New York and New Jersey kept on lobbing fucking bombs over the river and it might hit your apartment one night, you'd have no problem smashing New Jersey into submission. You'd have no problem with that. So until you live in their shoes, just shut the fuck up about that. I'm sick of this over the top fucking. Yes, stop the genocide. Yes, human rights are what Palestinians deserve. When we give them that and they make their own country, are they going to stand up for my human rights as an atheist? No, they're not. They're going to say that I'm going to get tortured by demons in my grave, and they're going to allow people to discriminate against everything that their idiot fucking holy book says is bad. Everything. And if you've read that threatening piece of shit, you know what I was talking about. God invented genocide. Are you kidding me? He killed the whole, if you believe the myths, he killed the whole world except for 7 idiots. And then the shit that popped off in his life after that when he got drunk and his daughters-in-law, give me a break. I am mad. Oh, no, too much to do. We're all mad. We're mad that we have to live in a country that's getting stupider instead of smarter. Education should be number one. We should educate 5 and 6-year-olds as to world philosophy, but we won't do that. See, separation of church and state, yeah, it was a thing better than it is now, but it's never been complete. They forced the Mormons to give up polygamy. How is that separation of church and state? That is the government getting involved in religion, making a law telling a religion that they cannot have one of their basic doctrines and tenets. That's what happened there. It's never been good. And now we see people coming out of school that don't understand anything. They don't get taught about other religions and other philosophies. When I was in fifth grade and fourth grade, I was bragging on my education. It wasn't perfect. They teach you mythology. They teach you Greek mythology and Norse mythology. Why? Well, they have pantheons pretty easily debunked as myths because A, they have no followers anymore to speak of. And B, yeah, it's pretty obvious there's not a bunch of gods on Mount Olympus. We've been there. We've pretty well accepted that people don't get born out of Zeus's skull, right? But they won't let go of the God belief. But my point here is that if they taught kids philosophies that mimic or were even plagiarized by Christianity, then little kids would question their parents' indoctrination, and religion would die even faster than it's dying now. That's what's up. Education needs to become the number one priority, and it never is. It never has been, and it never is. I know you guys are commenting on YouTube, and you know we got kind of rolling here on the talk, but I'm going to go pretty soon because I've been on for an hour already, and I've never shut my mouth for 1 second. And you know what, Brett? That's what I get to do because I got my own channel. Beta. I'm such a beta. Hey, guy really knows me. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, I would have been ADHD for sure. They would have called me hyperactive in the day. I was probably just under the radar where if it had been any worse, my parents probably would have gotten me. But yeah, come on, look at me. I can't shut up about anything. Yeah, pretty sure I would have been diagnosed hyperactive. It's now ADHD or ADD. I think closest thing teachers come to teaching about that sort of thing is, hey, don't be mean to LGBT. Yes, well, yeah, everybody kind of gets the golden rule, right? I mean, and again, the Christian left is, they were with me today, and protesting Agent Orange and the most ridiculously inept government that's ever fucking existed. Literally the stupidest cabinet anyone ever saw. I love how when he's done with the usefulness of the women on the cabinet, he got rid of them. Every time greasy fucking smarmy Pete Craig's breath comes on, I think to myself, if we make it out of this administration at all, we'll be lucky, because he's out of bobos. He doesn't have any more sycophants that won't tell him no. Even Bill Barr and people like that were like, you know what? He doesn't want that anymore. He just wants enablers. He doesn't want anybody questioning his shit because it really makes him uncomfortable when people point out how dumb he is in certain areas. Doesn't want that. Wants carte blanche. He said it. I wish I just had generals who just listened to me. Yeah, well, those generals have an education that you couldn't even imagine. If you graduate from West Point, let me tell you what, you're a smart motherfucker. Period. If you graduate from the Naval Academy or the Coast Guard Academy, the Air Force, you are smart. Those are 4.0 GPA people, and they are well-rounded. And I'm a military brat. I'm a Coast Guard brat. I know. My dad's one of the most thoughtful people I ever knew, and he was Republican his whole life. He finally had enough. When Bush lied to us about weapons of mass destruction, he'd had enough. He voted for Obama. And who can blame him? I mean, every Republican president has gotten stupider from Lincoln on down, except for Nixon, who was a very smart guy. Just tragic flaws, poor Nixon, but he was a smart dude and a great politician. I heard net in Yahoo. I love that. Net in Yahoo was trying to get America to go to war with her. Of course they are. That's who's going to suffer if Iran gets a big bomb. That's who's going to suffer. We're never going to let them have an ICBM to put it on so that it threatens anybody in the West. But Israel and Jordan and West-friendly nations over there, look at them attacking Oman and attacking Saudi Arabia. They're just belligerent idiots, the regime in Iran. Nobody wants that. I don't blame him for wanting to get rid of it. Iran is ridiculous, and I am so completely against Islamic states and fundamentalist religious regimes, which is what we're trying to have started now, right? Christian nationalism is both unchristian and un-American. That's the great irony there. Christian nationalism, not Christian. Jesus said, give Caesar what is due Caesar. Don't get involved in politics. The J-dubs know. One of the cool things about the J-Dubs is that hands off government. It's not our business. Not what we're about. We're about the next kingdom, right? Whatever. But it's Christian nationalism, not American, because we have a nation of freedom of religion. And yes, the founders could only really think of it in terms of different Protestant sects. They were trying to get colonies to go along with a constitution that didn't favor any one of their Protestant sects, which the differences between now seem stupid. But the Danbury Baptists were different than the Rhode Island faction, and were different than the South Carolina faction. They all wanted to make sure that the government was going to favor one of them. So that's where it was born. And we had a pocket of Jews in Brooklyn and some Catholics in Maryland, right? So these people, Abrahamic, okay, certainly wasn't any Muslims here to speak of. Never mind pagans and Wiccan and Satanists, and everybody was expressing their own individuality, which is really what America, the best of America, is that expression of individuality and personal achievement, reaching the goals that you have in your mind without the threat of the government saying you can't do that. The Pentagon rolling back recognized religions. Are you in favor of that, fucking Tennessee? What the fuck is wrong with you? Because you don't fucking agree with it, and I'm asking you. I'm not, I don't know what you think. And if I ever get to Tennessee, look me up. I'm actually in Tennessee all the time. I love it. I do everything I can to bring a centrist view, a purple view, to one of the reddest states in the country. Because, like I said, Tennessee, great, man. No low taxes, no income tax, right? Have sales tax. We get no sales tax on food in Wisconsin. Our food is great here. Your junk food, you got to pay your tax on, buddy. You can go to the grocery store, no sales tax. People drive up from Illinois, which is stupid, over the top Democratic, with too much tax, too much of everything, and corruption. Please, most of our ex-governors are in jail, for fuck's sake. Is it high sales tax in? Okay, yeah. I don't buy a lot of things, but I honestly do. I love Tennessee. It's fucking gorgeous state. Yeah, that's the thing. When I was in Sunday school, we learned about other religions. And it wasn't, I mean, I suppose maybe it was seen through Christian glasses, but when I was in Sunday school, we learned about Islam, we learned about Buddhism, we learned about Judaism. That day is gone. Let me tell you, the only thing you learn in church now that I can see is how to fucking identify with the politic that is us against them, right? You have to have a rock band, you have to have a Starbucks in your church, you have to have 2 theaters and a school and after school programs where they indoctrinate. Your friends can drag your non-religious friends down to Awanas or whatever the fuck it is and have them, your parents aren't doing a good job of that, so here's Jesus. Yeah. Conformity. They're really trying to kill it, my friends. Centrist is someone who only thinks for themselves. You're going to think for other people. You like thinking for other people? I'm not sure. Nick's is number 1. I'm not really sure what that means, but thank you for joining. Love you. Well, yeah, Sunday school and church, it's all an identity politic now. It's and we, again, the Christian left is out there. They come out to the protests and they say, and the smart ones know, they know that Christian nationalism is wrong and it threatens them. Because when Christianity is made, which version are they going to fucking choose for the national one? Which one? Which sect of millions are they going to choose? And then all of a sudden you've opened that door, and then they're going to outlaw your ability to have a snake handling church. Why? Well, people die from it sometimes, or they get really sick, and it costs us money down at the ER because you don't have health insurance, because you can't afford it, because of the Republicans' policies that uphold the money grabbing big pharma. Pat McGroin. Pat McGroin is with us. I mean, Pat McGroin. I love that. Like Phil McCracken, right? Pat McGroin and Phil McCracken here. Of course, many of the early presidents. Abraham Lincoln was an agnostic, not a Christian. Openly said he wasn't a Christian. Look it up. Christianity is not my profession. I could never give assent to the long, complicated statements of Christian dogma. That's because they're openly dumb. People don't raise from the dead. It's not what goes on. And the idea that God would create us bad enough to have to sacrifice a son of his, His only son, because he's God, but he can only have one son. The dude's a fucking homicidal maniac. There's no fucking other way around it. People are like, well, that's the God of the Old Testament. Okay, you don't believe the Old Testament? You beat us over the head with the creationism enough. They like Genesis. They like the Ten Commandments, one of the versions at least. They don't follow them, but they like them. But the God of the New Testament is different because he's loving God. Yeah, he's so loving he whacked his own son for some really ridiculous precept. What the fuck? He just couldn't have made us go, oh, free will. Bullshit. Free will is an illusion, first of all. People hit me down all the time. You got free will. God's not going to step in on your free will. He won't or he can't. Because the free will that you think you have is so bad that AI knows what you're going to do next. Your phone knows what you're going to do next, but you think you have free will. Free will has been so debunked by philosophers over the ages that it's not even funny. There is no free will. That's a rationalization and a justification for the existence of evil in a world where we're supposed to have an all-loving God. They're so clearly not an all-loving God that it's obvious, any more than there is obviously not an all-evil God. There's too much good and love in the world for there to be an all-evil God. If there was an all-evil God, we'd all be evil and none of us would have good thoughts. You could say the exact same thing about a good God. There's clearly not an all good God. There's not a God who interacts. I love all the tacit implications of Christian sayings that I grew up with, like God helps those who help themselves. Okay, make the next leap now. Or prayer must always be accompanied by action. My mom loves that one. Prayer must always be. You can't just pray and expect. Okay, because you're almost there, honey. You'll be okay. Koshkabe. Yeah, it's funny how God does need your money. That's an old George Carlin. Yeah, God is all powerful creator of the universe. Just can't get his head around money. Yeah, money. Always needs money. George Carlin, right? Here's one from my guy. I met and worked with, interviewed her a couple times, George Carlin's daughter, who, like to point out that he wasn't an atheist. He was a seeker. He was an agnostic who kind of, was searching for the truth of the universe in his own way, like a human being will do. But he certainly was an anti-theist, an anti-religious person, because organized religion is so quite clearly a crowd control thing. Yeah, and no one cares. No one cares what religion you are. That's the point. Atheists are out here fighting for freedom of religion and getting shit on it by ignorant masses who think that a man rose from the dead for the first time 2,000 years ago, when his own myth is based on many, many earlier dying and rising sun gods. Jesus is just a sun god. He's the worship of the sun was replaced by the worship of a deity who seems to die every year on December 21st and then magically is born again on December 25th, which is the day that you can start seeing the sun get higher in the sky, when before the days of scientific measurements, the sun appeared basically to not move higher than its spot for about 3 days before you could notice that it was going back up as the earth moved around it and the seasons changed. So yeah, all these myths come from a time when people didn't know where the sun went at night. Never mind how it gets, the days get shorter and longer as the year goes by. The great theist, yeah, sun god, yeah. It was the movie that got us started on mythicism, right? It had so many flaws in it. I mean, that's an English pun. It doesn't work in any other language, so it's not a thing. Well, Joel Osteen does need that. He needs a semi truck to carry his Jerry curl around. I think, greasy son of a bitch. You don't see much of him anymore, didn't he? He got embarrassed. Remember when he got drunk and called himself God? Yeah, in vino veritas, my friend. Yeah, people like that they all do. They all think they're God because they've created this empire where people essentially worship them. Yeah, no kidding, Lorna. He doesn't need it at all. What, money? Why is he asking for it? Every time you go to church, need money, tithing. Why are you tithing for it? God doesn't need money. It's literally in the Bible. Yeah, it's true. Satan never asks for money. Satanism is awesome, and the people who are against Satanism, it's because they really think that these people worship Satan and that they think that Satan is real. Satanists are atheists, all right. Satanism is a figure that represents enlightenment and human achievement, right? The idea of Satan, the light bringer, the morning star, the one who Promethean figure who brings knowledge to humankind when the God of the Bible wants you to stay ignorant. Don't eat from the fruit of knowledge. Right from there, right there is should give everybody warning. It's not the apple, it's the fruit of knowledge. If you become aware, self-aware in the way that humans are, there's a humility issue there for the ancients. They're like, okay, you think you're God, and that's not good. You can't think you're God. So once you learn too much, you get too big for your britches, and someone's going to punish you because quite clearly you're not a God. You don't live forever, and seemingly healthy people drop dead from time to time. Well, how did that happen? The chieftain who took over every tribe and was the most powerful warrior, most eloquent speaker, biggest dude, just the greatest guy, had the most wives, and then he just drops dead while he's talking one day because he had a heart defect that they had no idea about. Well, that was God's punishment or karma, however you want to put it. That's how the ancients thought. So that coupled with the unexplained science and where did we come from and where we're going, our brains got too big. We overthought all that stuff, and hence religion. It's not rocket surgery, my friends. Yeah, see, I love that. Thank you, Brett. People we rail against religion that's fucking up our world, so we must be hurt. We must be. You didn't listen to me? I had a beautiful church upbringing. Great non-science denying liberal, and I mean not conservative. I don't mean woke. I just mean a liberal church that accepted science, accepted you for who you were, and tried to give a message of goodness and thoughtfulness on a Sunday. We didn't deny science. We didn't demonize outcasts or out members of society, and that day's gone, man. I had a beautiful experience in church. I was never hurt by church. I've seen people who were so emotionally crippled by church that it spurred me into this activism that I've been engaged in for 10, 12 years now. Yeah, that's so wrong. You don't know anything about people to say that. That's just bad. We're angry because we want a society that floats all boats. We want a rising tide. And religion is an anchor on society, dragging people backwards into the past. We're literally going backwards right now in many ways in society. Instead of keeping on learning, keeping on educating young people, making life better for everybody, we've been led to a point where the stupid in society are able to co-enable the greedy, right? The greedy and the mean are using the vulnerable and the uneducated as a weapon against the middle. That's the way it is. And now we have an oligarchy that's an authoritarian state with no freedom of religion and no freedom of the press. You've got this asshole in office, he's blocking, installing his own soundboard in the press room, Breitbart and other right-wing shitbag, and barring the AP, right? Oh, they said something against me. Now you go to I just saw that he wants to make the Smithsonian put warnings up about false information. Him talking about false information and fake news is the biggest joke in the world. That dude lives on fake news. He lives. His whole political career relies on fake news, on lying to gullible people in the country about things that they will never experience. The people that hate these immigrants who are so bad and so, and every time he turns on, murderers, rapists, insane, they're giving us the word. No, they're not. No, they're not. The ones that are need to go. I'm the first one to say if there's somebody who came over undocumented and is a criminal, but people who've been here for 30 years, making a living, paying taxes, doing your dishes, washing your laundry, taking care of your kids. How many of those Republican turds in Congress want to lose their domestic? None of them. It's an embarrassment. We're better than that as a people. Period. And it's 11 straight. Now I'm going to look at these. The world does not need Trump in any kind of way. The world needs to be rid of people like Trump. They need to be rid of people. He's unapathetic, unsympathetic, uncaring, selfish, self-aggrandizing, small penis asshole. And again, I will fight for your right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. Problem is that the turds on the right won't. They won't admit when they lost, and they're trying to rig elections. And they do it by saying that other elections have been rigged when every court, including his own one, where he installed activists, didn't agree with him. His own attorney general didn't agree with him. Woke white man, what's up? Well, I don't even know what you're talking about. If you don't believe in God, but you were offended by, I'm not offended by God. I'm offended by his scurvy followers. The God concept is always going to be with us. I'm perfectly with it. I say, God help me. God knows. God damn it. God, I evoke the name of God all the time. It's a concept we're not going to be able to escape because it's never going to die completely. We just need to educate it out of most people. There'll always be some idiot who's like, they just proved God in the paper, but I still believe it. Doesn't matter what they disprove or what they prove. There'll always be some weak-minded, crutch-needing fool in the country, probably Tennessee or Kentucky or Mississippi or Alabama or Missouri, loose, right? Who just has to have it. Oh, it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. He killed his own son for me. It's so beautiful. He loved me so much. All right, I'm gonna leave you all with that one. It's hard to talk straight for an hour and a half, man. Winded. Love you guys so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Brett. Thank you. Yeah, well, at least I have one. All right. See you next week and see you on the vid. Stay real. Keep it real. Keep it in the middle. And don't believe anything that you're told, my friends. Question everything, especially what the orange turd says. Best president ever. See you guys. One more toot for you, Lucy. Love ya. Oh, thanks, baby. Appreciate you being here. We'll talk soon.